Hi, I'm Stephanie Laska. I lost 140 pounds and created Dirty Lazy Keto. Thanks for joining me here on the YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe and enjoy the show. Yes. Well, we are going to be talking about one of my favorite subjects today, which is how to start exercising on the keto diet. How to start exercising. Did anyone cringe when I said that word? Like exercising. I don't know. It's okay if you're feeling that way. It's pretty normal and you're not alone. And I think that's why this topic has been requested so much. It's because people need help. They're like, well, how do I start exercising on the keto diet? It's complicated. It feels scary and overwhelming. And I want to reassure you that during my journey of losing 140 pounds, that's right, I went down 11 sizes in clothing. But during my journey, this was something I had to teach myself how to do. It did not come automatic. It was not part of my DNA. It did not come easy. In fact, it was pretty challenging. So I'm speaking from my heart. I resisted the whole exercise thing. In fact, I didn't even get started until I'd probably lost around 50 pounds. So I was a good chunk into my weight loss before I even considered facing this topic. So if you are ahead of that, kudos to you. So today what I'm going to do is talk about 6 strategies in particular. Is the 6 going the correct way? Yes? I'm going to be talking about 6 strategies in particular that really helped me when I was thinking about how to start exercising on the keto diet. So if this topic is interesting to you and this is something you want some help with, please give us a thumbs up. So that way I know you're tracking and I know this is interesting to you. So if you want these 6 tips and this topic is, interesting and relevant for you, please give this video here a thumbs up. That lets me know you are tracking. Plus, it's fun to use balloons. So I'm going to share those 6 strategies with you. So we're going to get started. But before I do that, I want to spin the wheel because I'll be giving out a prize today during the video or after the video. After I see a bunch of your comments, I'll choose somebody at random to win a prize because prizes are fun. Ooh, and today's prize is going to be a Dirty Lazy Keto pot holder. I love my pot holders. I use them all the time. Let's see if I have an example for you here. Perfect. Here's one. They are made out of silicone. They're really high quality. And it's a mitten. And it says Dirty Lazy Keto, and I'll mail you one. So if you're interested, participate a lot. Make a lot of comments. Tell me why you want one. Tell me what your questions are about exercising. Just get involved in the discussion, and then your chances of winning a prize go way up. And I do this all the time. So it's not like there's just one prize. Sometimes I go back and revisit older videos or when they've been out a while and then pick new people again because I have all these prizes and I want to help motivate and encourage you. That's why I do this. I'm here to spread the word and pay it forward. I was able to lose this weight myself and I want to help you do the same. So whatever I can do to help with videos and prizes and fun and books and tips, I'm going to do it. Even if it means being a little silly on TV. So here we go. Tip number 1. I think that we need to, cheeseball alert. I think we need to reframe exercise and get away from the negative. We have to reframe the way we think about exercise, the way we talk about exercise. We need to put it in a different light. And for so many of us, me included, I looked at exercise for years, for decades. I looked at it as punishment. Like I was dragged along to jazzercise class and aerobic classes and, made to run in gym class or made fun of for not being able to do things the right way in sports. But I looked at exercise as something horrible that, was bad. And then additionally, to make it more complicated, because that's how we roll. During my journey of losing 140 pounds, I got myself into a little trouble occasionally with looking at exercise in a negative way, not punishment, but more opportunity where I was like, if I run a marathon, then I can carbo load. Yeah, that's where I was going, right? Here's me in the New York Post. Here's the New York Post. New York City. I was running the New York City Marathon. I ran 12 marathons, in fact, during my journey. I know, that's kind of a lot. But here's the trick. Here I was, being a good role model for everybody, running, feeling good about myself. But behind the scenes, I was even looking at exercise in a kind of a negative way because I was looking at it, how can I eat more? I'll just run more. I'll run more often. I'll run all the time. And then here I am using running to justify, heading into the junk food department and chowing down on Cheetos and pasta and Fritos and pancakes and French toast and, right, Triscuits, pizza, all the stuff that I had been like, quote unquote, denying myself. Then all of a sudden I'm going hog wild for those types of foods just because I'm running. So I've had to learn from that experience, and I had to like tap myself on the shoulder and say, you know what, that's not cool. I need to reframe exercise in lots of different ways and make sure that I'm doing it for the right reasons, because that can really trip us up. Has anyone done that? Put it in the comments, please. I'm listening. It doesn't have to be that you ran a marathon, but has anybody ever like gone to the gym or done a big workout and then been like, ooh, now I can have a hot fudge sundae. Now I can have a Starbucks or whatever. You use it to like justify behavior. And that's a negative thing that I think we need to get away from. So that's tip number 1. Don't hang me out to dry. I need to hear your stories too. So tip number 2 is I think that we need to sometimes force the positivity, okay? This would be the opposite of what we just talked about with the negativity. Sometimes we need to force ourselves to feel that positive energy about exercise. Yeah, like fake it till you make it. One of my tips is I tell myself often, I really do. I do this every day. I do it this morning, did it yesterday, did it the day before. I say to myself, I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky. And then I finish the sentence. I'm so lucky that I get to carry in all my groceries by myself. All, 52 laps from my car to my garage to my house while my family's not helping. And I'll say, I'm so lucky I get to carry it all by myself, because that's exercise, right? I'm lifting weights, I'm lifting heavy boxes, I'm lifting, 12 packs of this and cases of water, and I'm going back and forth to the car. I tell myself, I'm so lucky I get to carry the laundry up and down the stairs 5,000 times. Why? Because I'm getting exercise. I tell myself, I'm so lucky I get to clean up my dog's mess in the yard and help with yard work because I'm getting exercise and I'm getting fresh air and I'm feeling good about myself. I remember I was running the Beta Breakers. This is a race in San Francisco. It's the oldest, well, it used to be the oldest, longest foot race in the world. I know, it had that title for a long time. And I do it every year with my family. I think we've done it, 7, 8 years in a row. So fun. So I was running the Beta Breakers. I know, and you get this cool medal. And I remember, and we're all in costumes and acting crazy and having a good time. And I remember there's this one part of the race where all these cute people from the old folks' home, they were in walkers, they were in wheelchairs. Some of them, were just the sweetest people you've ever seen in your life. And the caregivers had wheeled them out to the post, out to the street in San Francisco, out to the corner, set up chairs for them. And they were all watching and cheering us on and clapping. And some of them were just, so cute and so old and so frail, but they were cheering and they were clapping. And I remember seeing them and I started to cry. And I was like, I'm so lucky, started that again, because I am healthy enough to be active. I am healthy enough to run up these hills, to walk these hills, to be here with my family, to be outside. And, there'll be a day where that's not going to be possible, right? Because we all get older, our bodies change. But for now, I have to convince myself, fake it till you make it, people. I have to remind myself every day and force that positivity that I am so lucky to have the body that's healthy enough to do any kind of exercise that I choose. Now, you may be in a situation where you're pretty limited with your movement. That's okay. We'll get to that. But feel positive for what you are able to do and feel thankful for what you can do, because there's something. There's something. You may not be running full sprint up a marathon in the hills of San Francisco, but I bet there's something you can do. So say it in the comments right now. Say what you are grateful for your body, because I bet there's something. What is it? Remember, I'm going to pick somebody from the comments to win a prize, so you want to participate. It's true. When you say that you're lucky and you feel positive and you focus on what you're able to do, you are actually saying yes to more energy, to more confidence, to improved health, to better self-esteem. These are all fantastic and amazing side effects, right, of exercise. Oh, I was looking for my next prop and I just found it. So I think that you'll agree with that. Tip number 3. We're humming along, we've got 6, right? Tip number 3, and this goes back to what we just alluded to, is that I want you to start where you're at now. Now. Start where you're at now. Now, there's a whole bunch of people. Oh. Now I see what happened. My little prop bucket fell all the way down. I'm going to crawl down and get it. Hold on. See, I'm so lucky I could crawl down and fit to grab it. So tip number 3 is starting where you're at now. And I'm going to put on my old high school, right? My old high school Letterman jacket here. And the reason I'm doing this is so many people, especially as it relates to exercise, they look backwards in time and they're like, oh, but I used to be able to play volleyball and I used to be able to run a mile in, 10 minutes, or I used to be able to play softball. I used to be able to do this, blah, 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 right? They look back at their glory days when they were younger or, at a different fitness level in life, and they just get stuck looking backwards and just being upset. Does that ever happen to you? It happens to all of us. It's normal. But in order to make exercise part of your life and to get started with exercise and the keto diet, you have to start where you're at now. And that may have changed. So get rid of this old, this old memory, this old baggage. Take it off. Get rid of it. Because you got to start where you're at right now. And make small, realistic goals. Realistic, people. Realistic and what's appropriate to your whole situation today. And always work with your doctor for these things. Don't just jump in willy-nilly. Work with a partner, see where you're at, where your health is right now, and take it one step at a time. I like to think of this like water, for example. So many of you are drinking your water, yes? How many cups of water do you drink a day? How many ounces of water do you drink a day? Do you drink it all at once? No. You drink it just 1 cup at a time, right? 1 glass at a time. Can you imagine if you tried to sit down and oh yeah, I got to do it all at once. I got to just go all in and drink a whole 5 gallons of water. No, you would not be drinking gallons of water in one sitting. That would make you sick, right? It would hurt your body. Exercise is the same way. You have to start where you're at, go in small increments, check with your doctor, of course, and then just do what's right for your body. And use some common sense, right, people? Come on. It's funny how that with exercise, we lose our common sense, right? We go back to our olden days and glory days, and we go back to what we think we should do and what everybody else should do, and we get all messed up and distracted. So think about that water analogy. Think about just 1 cup at a time, 1 sip at a time, and doing what's right for you, where you're at right now. That's going to be the key. Yes. Do I hear a yes? Give me a thumbs up for that. Have you already thumbs upped? If you haven't thumbs upped yet, is that a word? Make sure you're doing a thumbs up or writing in the comments, say yes, yes, yes. I'm going to commit to that. So tip number 4 is I want you to remove the barriers, remove what's stopping you, remove those barriers to starting exercise on a keto diet today. What are the barriers for you? I'm listening. Put them in the comments. For a lot of people, they get really tripped up on things like, well, I got to join a gym. Or, well, I need to sign up for a class. Or I need a personal trainer. Or, oh, this is going to cost a lot of money, right? These are barriers for a lot of people. Does that sound like you? Some people have barriers like, well, I have to go out and buy a bunch of expensive equipment, right? Or I'm going to choose an exercise that requires a lot of equipment. Or another barrier is they're going to choose an activity that requires driving, or an activity that's far away. That's a barrier to making you be successful, because the further you have to drive, the more equipment you need, the more expensive it is. If you need a partner or not, or a team or not, all these things can really get in the way of you actually doing it. Would you agree? So instead of messing around with all those obstacles and hoping it all works out, instead try to remove all those barriers and simplify. Do something simple. inexpensive, not a lot of equipment, close by, something you can do on your own in case your partners or your team isn't there to support you. Something you can do without a class, something you can do without going to a gym. These are the things that are going to help you to be more successful to start exercising on a keto diet. And if I can give you a couple of more tips, these are just my own little strategies. I always like to lay out my workout clothes the night before. I do this every night. Doesn't matter how much time I have planned to exercise in the morning, whether I have 5 minutes or 50 minutes, I still lay out my clothes. Even if I don't want to, I lay them out anyway. It's a routine. By the way, you can get a cute little Dirty Lazy Keto tank top. You can get a Dirty Lazy Keto hat. You can get a cute Dirty Lazy Keto water bottle. Anything you need to get you motivated and excited and, ready to go. Something that's going to signify it's time to get busy and get exercising. And all that is on the website, right? There's a whole store tab at dirtylazyketo.com. And there's also links near the YouTube videos. And there's all sorts of sizes, plus sizes, regular sizes, colors, styles for every body type. So I'm trying to make it fun. Here's another tip for you. Stand up as much as possible. Stand up, sit down, stand up, sit down. I have my watch set to alert me every hour. And it says, excuse me, you need to stand, Stephanie. So keep track of how much you're standing. It's fine if you want to watch TV. Do it standing up. It's amazing what you can accomplish. When I was recording the audiobook for Dirty Lazy Keto Get Started, Losing Weight While Breaking All the Rules, it's an audiobook as well as a printed book. I recorded the whole thing while standing. And at the studio, the producer was like, don't you want a chair? And I'm like, no, I want to stand the whole time because I want to feel energized. And the more active you are, the more energy you get. Plus, sitting down, it just felt like, it'd be really easy to fall asleep in this dark, quiet room. I wanted to stand and be full of energy and burn calories just while I'm standing, while I'm awake, not even doing much. So I like to tell myself sitting is the new smoking. For some reason that resonates with me. What is a phrase that resonates with you? Do you like that? Sitting is the new smoking. Whenever I'm sitting, it makes me feel bad about myself. I'm like, get up. It's like smoking a cigarette sitting here. I can do better. There are so many inexpensive or free ways that you can exercise all day, right? That's what we talked about. Those are barriers. Look up YouTube videos, right? Look up things online that you can print out. Here's a list of my yoga poses that I printed off the internet. These are free, simple, easy, inexpensive, fast ways that you can start moving that don't require a team, a boot camp, a personal trainer, all those things that make it harder to actually do the work. So get rid of all those. And if you are trying to, get a little help, I always recommend getting a furry friend to help you. My dog is a super motivator for me in the mornings. She's like, let's go. I have to go to the bathroom. Let's go. So even if I don't want to, even if it's raining, I don't care. We go and we have a good time. She helps me. And keep in mind, you don't need expensive anything, okay? One of the best little gadgets I ever got myself was this from Amazon or eBay. It's like an armband where you can put your phone inside and you can put your key or money. And they have different styles. They're like anywhere from $3 to $10. And there's waist versions as well. But this was great for me to put just a few things I needed and then head out the door. And it was inexpensive and they have them in cute colors. I do recommend you get yourself some good headphones. I used to have the old school kind with the cord, and then I upgraded to the better AirPods. And I haven't looked back, people. It's life-changing. Now I love to listen to podcasts while I'm out walking or exercising. So easy to do on your phone. You can download them, and then they'll just play one to the next. And those are free, right? That's a good way to do it. And most of the exercise I do, this is the equipment I need. What is it? It's just a pair of shoes. You don't need fancy shoes. I did, 5-6 marathons wearing Skechers, and they were really inexpensive, like $30. I didn't need anything fancy. Over the years, I upgraded. These are Asics, but I didn't do that at first. You know what I mean? I didn't make that a barrier. For me, down the road, this was more of a reward, being able to get a better quality or better colors shoe, right? For me, that was kind of a fun little treat to get and incentivize myself to get out there. I love apps that are free as well, like all sorts of fun things that you can do, right? And I'll go into some of those in a second. But does that help? I think another piece of equipment that a lot of people get mileage out of instead of a gym is just to get yourself a yoga mat or an exercise mat. And, you know, a quality yoga mat or exercise mat might cost you less than $20. And I think that this is really a valuable thing. Set it up in a place that you see it, like right in the way, not hidden, not somewhere in a corner, but make sure it's right there. The funniest story is that sometimes my dog lays on my yoga mat and she does yoga. She's like, oh, downward dog, up stretch. And whenever I see her on it, it makes me laugh and then makes me walk over and get on it myself. So if it's in the way, people will use it. And kids too. Everyone's like, oh, I should lay down and stretch. And stretching, all that calisthenics, that counts too as exercise. Serious. Remember, your goal here is just to feel good about yourself, right? You're trying to get rid of that negativity. Nothing negative, not to overeat, not to eat chips, not to like punish yourself, not to eat more net carbs, just to feel fabulous. That's really what we're working on here. Some say that walking, just 30 minutes a day. I just listened to an interview the other day. Oprah was interviewing a Harvard professor and health expert. And he was saying that most chronic health conditions can be reversed with a simple 30-minute brisk walk a day. I was like, wow, that's something to think about. Because we overthink it, don't you know? We overthink it. And overthinking it is my tip number 5. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Catch yourself. And I really hate it when people say, here's a good exercise tip. Do something you love. Do something you love. And I probably even caught myself saying that in the past. Because here's the truth. When I first started the keto diet, when I first started trying to lose weight, I did not like exercise. And I did not love any exercise. I hated them all. I was afraid of them all. I hated them all. So for someone to tell me like, oh yeah, just do something you love. And I know I've probably even said that myself now, but going back to the state of mind I was at when I was new to the keto diet, that wasn't really helpful to me. And I don't know, it might be helpful to you that I'm admitting that. So let me know. But for me at the time, I didn't love a lot of exercise. It scared me. I was really intimidated about funny things. If, you know, you might resonate with some of these. But and I share this in Dirty Lazy Keto Get Started. If you've read this book, I share all about my fear of running and fear of sweating. But seriously, I spent like a lot of time wasted worrying about my hair. Serious. And worrying about like my lipstick and my eyeshadow and taking a shower. I was so worried about when I would do these things and how I would get out the door in the morning, how I'd take care of my kids, how would I manage my time. I was so worried about all these silly things, overthinking it, that I wasn't taking any action at all. Does that sound familiar? Anyone afraid of sweating? Because I was so overthinking the whole process. Once I got started, it all came together, and then I felt silly. So I encourage you not to overthink it. That's tip number 5. Now, I have to say, before I wrap up with our last tip, if all this is still feeling too overwhelming to you, and you're like, oh, I'm just not going to handle this, that's okay too. I have another video that I'll link up after this, which is all about losing weight on the keto diet without exercise. Without exercise. And I talk about the situations where that might be more appropriate. So I'm going to link that up next. Maybe listen to both, and then it might change your mind. I don't know. Or it might just make you feel better, more relaxed, less nervous about the whole thing. And that's important too. So we've gone through 5 tips. You doing good? You doing good? And if you have a question, put that in the comments too. Because we want to win a prize, right? We want to win a prize. Remember the pot holder? Who's going to win? I'll give out a couple if I get a lot of comments. So tip number 6 for you is I recommend how to lose weight on the keto diet and incorporating and starting the exercise is to monitor your progress. Monitor your progress. And what I mean by this is do something to keep track of what you're doing. So it could just be a simple calendar, okay? You might just start marking down what you're doing. Okay. What you do, when you do it, it helps you feel good about yourself. You're like, look at me. You could put a sticker, a heart, a dot. It doesn't have to be specific. You do you. But write something down, right? That's a way to keep track of what you're up to, feel good about yourself, and rack up some of those points. Those like good girl points, good boy points. Here's another idea. I have a Dirty Lazy Keto blank calendar. And I could send these out to some people if you might find it helpful. And it's a dry erase calendar, peel and stick, put it on your fridge. And you could fill it in a way that celebrates what you're up to. I think documentation is huge. And like I said, it can be as simple or as ornate as you want. You don't need fancy equipment, but if you like having things like a Fitbit, a Blaze, an Apple Watch, these are things that can be motivating to people. My mom, I got her this Fitbit, and she went crazy. I have never seen her so excited about exercise. It got her out of her headspace from thinking about it as punishment to thinking about it as like competition and fun and tracking. And she was, I got this many steps. And then she'd invite people to her circle. And it really got her fired up. So you got to figure out what's going to work for you. You know, some people might be surprised to know if they have an iPhone, you can go to an app on your iPhone and it's a heart. Let's see if I can find it for you. If you can't find it, just type in heart and it says health. So type in health. Okay. And you can see all sorts of good stuff. Like here's a health summary of where you're at. Like I can see that today I've already walked 5,600 steps and the day is only half there. So it's kind of neat. And you can track your progress. You can track your sleep, your heart rate. And these are all things that can be very helpful about how much activity you're on. Like yesterday, I walked 12,000 steps. Every night I check this before I go to bed because it makes me feel good about myself. Yesterday I was stuck at an airport and that could have been a bad situation, right? You could have been complaining and sad and grumpy, but I tried to put on my hat that said, I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky. My flight has been delayed multiple times and I'm at an airport and I reached in my carry-on and I got my tennis shoes on and I actually changed my outfit and I walked for 5 miles up and down terminals and back and forth. And I said, I'm so lucky I get to push my suitcase for added strength training. So these are free ways to just incorporate what works for you. There's a lot of apps out there, right? Share if you have an app that's really helpful to you. One that's helped me over the years, in addition to the ones I just shared, is the Nike app. And this is the Nike Run Club. It's free to join, and it keeps track of how many miles you do every day, and it keeps adding to it. So that's pretty cool. And I did that a lot while I was running and training for marathons because I had to stick to a schedule and really, make sure I was logging enough mileage to prepare for the big day. So do you figure out what's going to work, but add it in the comments and share because what is helping you might help somebody else. But down in, before we forget, at the very bottom of this tip for number 6 about monitoring progress is celebrating what you're doing, right? Documenting it, but also giving yourself a little treat. Like what could you do? What's a little carrot you could chase? Is there like a gift card you might like, an activity you want to do, a new hairstyle? Think of something special and fun, maybe a gift certificate or some kind of little prize, a little treat. And I mentioned to you, I upgraded my shoes. That was one of my treats. But think of the ways, a new dog leash. Think of a prize or a reward that you can give yourself along the way that's not food. Not food. Can't be food, can't be sabotage. That would take you back to number 1 with the negativity. So think about that as you put some goals in front of yourself. It might be a charity that you work for and try to do a charity run. It might be a special event in your future. It might just be, wow, if I can do X for 3 months in a row, I'm going to take myself on a hike. That would be an amazing activity. I'm going to take myself ice skating. That was one of my special treats that I did as a milestone. But figure out non-food rewards. Okay, that's going to help you in the long run, yeah? Not the hot fudge sundae. So bottom line, folks, I just want you to know that you are not alone on this journey. I'm here to support you. I have so many resources. I know every time we do a video, I'm trying to highlight something new tools, new tips to help you. Make sure you're on the mailing list. It's free. And then I'll send you links to videos and updates. It's dirtylazyketo.com. It's free. Put your email in. The first email is welcome. It comes right away. I feel like I need to say this every week because people go, well, I signed up and nothing happened. Well, that's because it's probably in your junk folder. Go to your junk or your spam. It might be just sitting right there waiting for you. If you signed up a long time ago and you're like, oh, I need to get back on those emails. I want to read them again. Go to your junk folder or spam folder and search for my name. Search Stephanie at dirtylazyketo.com because that's where the emails are coming from. And then you'll be back on track. Just open them and put them back in your regular inbox. Feeling good? Are you feeling good? Are you feeling good? Are you feeling good? Are you dancing? Are you ready to exercise? You're not scared anymore? If you still are, it's okay. Remember, I'm going to have that other video linked up, how to lose weight without exercise. You can just watch that next and then make your final decision. But know that Dirty Lazy Keto works. It's going to work for you. With or without exercise, it's going to work. It's flexible. It's easy to do for the long haul at any age, for any situation, any gender, any financial situation. Doesn't matter if you work nights. Doesn't matter if you're 70 or 60 or 25. This is going to work for you. And it's a weight loss transformation that you can do forever. It's not something temporary. It's not a fad short-term diet. It's a lifestyle. So I believe in you. I want to give you a huge round of applause. Give yourself a big pat on the back. And I hope that you will join me to watch the next video.